Hello and welcome to another update video about silver. Yeah, on the silver chart, we are still tracking here this quite messy corrective structure. The main question on this chart, I'm still tracking mainly or only really at the moment bullish scenarios. Well, I shouldn't say that. We're tracking bearish scenarios as well. We do that by using Fibonacci support levels below $19.14. I have to expect, and that's sort of the bearish case, below $19.14, we have to expect that the lows from August 22 are going to be tested and possibly break. But until then, I'm looking for a third wave rally that could unfold here in line with what gold is doing. And that would be very bullish on the silver chart, which could take us to $30 and beyond. The main problem I have, and I start to consider that more and more, is that this structure looks somewhat similar to what we have on the gold chart, okay, the messiness here. So this here could indeed be an ABC structure in wave 1. This move down as well, and then the third wave would also be an ABC, in which this initial ABC structure could form a larger A. We do a larger B and C, so it will not be an easy way to the upside. But it depends on what happens now in the microstructure. Let's talk about the two scenarios here that are realistic. So far, nothing changed to the previous update, but I wanted to talk about this potential diagonal pattern that's here unfolding, which is basically this ABC structure. So first of all, there are two main scenarios I'm watching. They're both bullish as long as $19.14 is holding really. So in the short term, I have no evidence that this low is already in, okay? So the idea is at the moment that a wave 2 could have completed here in October. And the problem is this is not a 5-wave move up. So I can only read this as a 3-wave move, which means that in the yellow count, this is a very much extended wave 2. The wave 2 eventually could finish here. And the move was a W, X, Y structure. And basically with that scenario, or in that scenario, we're now in the Y wave and deal here with an A, B, C structure. In this scenario, if we take a look at it in detail, the C wave could land at around $21.36. Now you see that this is above the previous low. So that allows me to consider the white count, but we talk about that in a minute. But yeah, if this is really yellow, the yellow counts should really send us below the wave W low. Okay, so, but the 1-to-1 ratio, one of the very common targets, points actually above the wave W. So that's just one important finding. However, there is the other way of measuring, and this points us to $20.48. So there seems to be good support around the golden ratio around $20.45. So yellow count at the moment, I consider it. Yeah, the situation is very dynamic. So if I really expect it, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Just want to show you this is a possibility that we are coming down lower in a C wave, possibly to $20.45 and reset wave 2. So it means if we come down lower here, it would not be a reason to panic. First of all, let's see if we find support in this support region. But if the wave 2 is already in, which I currently assume for gold, then silver could follow a different pathway, or a similar pathway, not different, similar pathway in which we have an ABC structure in wave A, because we're dealing with a diagonal, remember? This would be a B wave pullback, also A, B, C, and the B wave could then end a little higher, okay? We just talked about a possible target. For example, we might be dealing here with around about $21.40. And the wave structure is probably the same, yeah? By the way, I would like to move it here. The wave structure is probably the same. It's just it will depend, which of these is going to play out depends on how long is this C wave going to be. Okay, so if we end above the October low, then it's the white count, which could send us directly in a C wave of an already unfolding third wave to $30 plus. If it's the yellow count, we'll probably make a marginally lower low below the October low, but we would only then start the third wave. In the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't make much difference. So what I'm observing here is possibly a B wave top I think we talked about that in the last update already, and that now wave C of 3 has started to unfold, so this wave count remains unchanged. Then we could see a 4 and a 5 later. And the question is, okay, how low do we go, right? So we will have to observe that every single day to make an assessment where we might land. What I can tell you, if this next drop could finish off the wave 3. So what would be a possible target? Possible target for wave C of 3 is sort of starting at $22.17, maybe even $21.87. So that's sort of what I'm watching. Then a 4 and a 5, yeah, it could reach that $21.40 level roughly. So that's what I'm watching for. Of course, if we see a break above the resistance range and the wave 2 high at $24.08, we need to consider other options. For example, a reset of yellow wave B, but as long as we stay below those levels, the downside pressure remains. And the question I just have is, how deep is this pullback going to be? So that requires close monitoring, either the white count or yellow. Okay, white would be a little bit more bullish short term. Okay, that's my update about silver. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit a like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you're interested in daily updates about the S&P 500 as well as regular updates about stocks, check out our stocks and S&P 500 service. You'll find the link in the description. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.